And we're live.
Welcome to Fall Forward Radio.
Jayhawk, what is it?
Here we are, buddy. Another episode. What's going on?
You're very loud. Stop shouting. Stop yelling.
Sorry. Let me turn down a little bit.
I know you're excited, Hannah. How have you been, my friend? What's going on? How was your week?
Yeah, it's been a while since we actually seen each other, huh?
I know. Well, I went back to
I
work.
thought the band was breaking up for a minute.
Well, I got to say, you look very clean shaven and nice, and
my best representative. I've got to get on some phone calls and Zoom calls for job opportunities now.
There you go. Well,
gotta sell.
I've been busy. Guess what?
Yeah.
I went back to work. I got a job, and I've spent a full week working.
Breaking news.
No, I mean, when I say working, I mean, it's not like I've been lying on the sofa doing nothing in the last 6 weeks, but it's a week back at work, and
how's it feel?
Feels good. I feel like I come home and I feel like I've had a good day at work, and all the people are wonderful, and I used to work there before, so they're all just
back in the saddle again.
Back in the saddle. Yeah. So the weekend was nice. I slept a lot, and I realized what it feels like to get back in the workplace. So
well, let's just preface one thing. It's great to have you back in the workforce. I'm happy that I'm going to be hopefully closing in on something soon too, but doesn't mean that we won't want to take this thing that we're doing here with everybody out there and make it happen for the rest of the life.
This is not slowing down at any time whatsoever. This is full steam ahead. It's not going to affect anything. Don't you worry. I'll be looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed no matter whether I'm working or not working. So don't you worry, my friend. Now listen.
Get it. Go.
We've got 4 days.
Yep.
Before we go on tour.
Maryland, here we come.
Yeah, we are so excited. But we have a problem. We can only take a carry-on the plane. We can't check in, but we can check in bags. So I've been on YouTube and I've been looking at the roll and tuck and try and get as much in there. And I'm worried. I'm struggling.
I'm worried for you too. Where are you going to put all your makeup for the video production? Oh, do I just let it secret?
No, I'm flying in on makeup artists. They're flying in. They're coming in separately. They don't know that yet, and we're not paying them, but they'll most likely not show up. So, but I think I'll be all right. Have you packed yet?
Haven't packed yet. Checking the weather. Got to make sure. Look, we're going up to the DC area. It could be pretty cold up there. Get prepared.
Yeah, we'll be fine. I mean, I can wear flip-flops, right?
Of course. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then have no feet when I come back.
Yeah. Lose a toe or two for turning black.
Well, look, I've started to pack. Those of you that know me, I'm a Virgo, so I like to make sure I'm ready for everything. So, but we're excited, and when we're up there, we're going to be live vlogging as Jay did in the last video. You keep me vlogging. I like that. That was cool. Very good editing. So we're excited, but we're not as excited. We are as excited. We're very excited about today's guests. We got two guests. I got it right this week.
That's right. Plural this time again.
So we're not going to go into it too much, but we've got Briana and Kathy from the Banyan Children's Pediatric Center.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, man.
Can't wait to talk about it. Obviously, we don't want to let too much out right now. We had a chance to go on site and see the place. So, we'll talk a lot more about the details when we see the two ladies. So
100%. But we just put a little clip together, a little video together just to show you. It's more of just video stills. We got one video in there, which is great. But take a look, and then when we come back, we will talk to Briana and Kathy. So Jay, without further ado, take. Well, Jay, the stars
sir.
of the video are here with
They
us.
look fantastic.
I know they look
Matching
so
and all.
much. We kind of match a little bit, but we're different colors. Ladies, Briana, Kathy, welcome to the show. How are you
Yes.
both?
Fine, thank you.
Thank
Good.
you for being here.
Oh, we're excited to have you guys. We're really excited. So just to give our full forward fanatics, just so you know, that's what we call our millions upon millions of fans. A little bit of background. As Jay said earlier on, we went on tour and we went to our first location and we actually got to visit the Banyan facility in St. Pete in Florida. And I know I just said that.
I'm just trying to help you out. I'm trying to be part of it.
Sorry, ladies. We always just having an argument between the two of us. And we got to meet these two wonderful, wonderful ladies over here on my, whichever side this is, my left or right, depends on. And it's Briana. Briana is on your left. There's Briana. And Kathy is on your right. Ladies, thank you, first of all, for the most phenomenal day. We haven't stopped talking about it since we've been back. We had the best time. And going to be 100% honest. Didn't know what to expect when we came in. Obviously, we had done our research. And I'm sure this is probably one of my first questions to you is, we were unsure as to how things would be in there. We didn't know whether the kids were going to be, you know, upset or sad being away from their parents, or how it was going to be. And it was amazing. Every single child was smiling and waving. And I was playing pat a cake up against the glass with a couple of the kids. Is that one of the questions you guys get often on? How do the kids react on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, I think so.
Absolutely.
I think seeing it is believing it. You know, until you really see, you don't really know what it's like. But yes, we have a lot of people, or before COVID, having volunteers and things that thought it would be depressing. But when people come in, they see what a happy place it is.
Yeah, the atmosphere is electric. Like Rob said, when we were walking around, what caught my attention the most was like we were saying, everywhere we went, the children were smiling. Even if they had any health challenges, honestly, you really wouldn't know that on the exterior. You'd have to dig deeper and talk to some of the others that are helping take care of them and whatnot to really know what the details were. It just really caught my attention, and I felt the electricity in there, like it was a positive environment for those children to be at. It was great.
So you guys would have seen the video we played just before we started the interview, and lots of still photos, and you can see some of the kids clearly, you know, are physically disabled in wheelchairs, and then there's other kids that, you know, we saw around that you wouldn't physically see any kind of disabilities or problems health-wise. So I guess this brings us into the question of what you guys do at Banyan and what the whole organization is. So whoever wants to take away, or both of you together, we'd love for you to share exactly what Banyan is and does. Go for it.
Okay, well, it's Banyan Pediatric Care Centers. And that's what we provide, is we provide PPAC services, prescribed pediatric extended care services. So we provide nursing and developmental therapies for medically fragile and medically complex children in a child care type setting.
Yes.
Wow.
When I describe the type of children and what we do here, I kind of describe it as an alternative to home health, so that the children are able to come out of their homes, experience the social aspect of being around their peers. We have a model where we separate the children into different classrooms or age groups so that they are around peers that are close to their age, so that while they're having their medical needs met, they're getting everything else in their life covered as well.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you hear the words pediatric center, you know, obviously pediatric being children, but you don't know enough. And the thing that we are really, really adamant on promoting is exactly the amazing things that you guys both do. So let's dive a little bit into that. Briana, when we got there, there was a couple of, I think it was in either one of the kids just arrived from being picked up. Tell everybody about what you also offer with the pickup, drop off, that kind of stuff.
Sure. So we have 3 buses that leave our center, and they have a driver as well as a nurse or an EMT on the bus. They go to the children's homes, they pick up the children and transport them back to the center. And then in the afternoons, they do the reverse. So they'll pick them up at the center, pick them up with the nurse, and transport them back home. The nurse being on the bus can do a full assessment, make sure that they're at their medical baseline. If there's any emergencies, they can treat them while they're on the bus, and kind of manage their care from there.
So we have both oxygen, suction, and medical equipment on the bus should an emergency occur at any time.
That's great.
It's Go on. Sorry, go, Jay. You go.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, just to add to that, and I remember that when we were there, you were telling us one of the benefits of having this transportation program is that the parents themselves can continue on to go to their work lives or whatnot, and work where they're at, and then the kids can go to school and they can kind of meet after the fact and kind of keep some normalcy going in their life. So it's a great program.
I think the other thing is transportation is key, the wheelchair accessibility, because some of the wheelchairs don't fold down as the children age, and some of the parents don't have vehicles that accommodate the wheelchair. So they're able to ride to and from the center on our bus.
And the alternative to that, some of the families will have to leave the chairs here if our buses were not able to bring them home. So then the children don't have their specific devices at home for them to be in and using while they're outside of the center.
I mean, going back to what I said before, when we arrived there, we had just met you. There was a little boy coming in, and the first thing he did as soon as he got there was
He did.
Reached for Brie.
and it was just incredible. It was that started off our day. Just for those of you guys, so you know, when we got there, is again, I think I was more nervous than Jay, because you're always nervous of the unexpected, of what's going to happen, and it wasn't a nervous in a bad way. It was just unexpected. And we stood there, we were talking, we all had our masks on, so we could only see each other's eyes. So this is probably the first proper time we've got to see both of you guys. And that little boy putting his arms out and hugging you while you're talking, it was just so heartfelt. And it was just like, wow. Straight off the bat, we felt, wow, this is an amazing, amazing place.
Very nursery setting. It felt great.
Yeah. So going through the different developmental stages, what age do you start at and what age do you go up to?
So we serve children birth to 21 years of age.
Wow.
So it's a wide range of children in the center.
Right.
So we have some children that may come into the center prior to their due date because they're born extremely premature.
Wow.
And they may come into the center 2 weeks before their actual due date. And then we also serve children up to 21 years of age.
Wow.
So maybe Bree can talk about how kids medically qualify for the program.
Please. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So the children have to have a need for skilled nursing, whether it be medication administration, seizure management, diabetic management, to rare disorders that need nursing care throughout every aspect of their life. So there could be different diagnoses that will qualify a child to be here, but another child with the same diagnosis might not qualify. So it's really just that need for skilled nursing and the monitoring and making sure that they're at their medical baseline. A lot of what we do here and what our goal is to keep the children out of the hospitals and out of the doctors and to keep them stable. So when looking at a child and whether or not they would qualify, it would kind of be looking at that as if we would be able to help them stay here.
And all care is ordered by the child's primary care physician.
Got it. So your goal really is to take care of these kids for as long as necessary, correct? It's not it's not a permanent, they come in, their parents drop them off when they're be and they stay there until they're 21 years old. Your goal is really to get them to a stage where they are able to, as much as possible, be self-sufficient. Is that correct? Yeah. Would you say?
So when they come in, I do what's called an initial assessment. I determine their medical needs. I write up their plan of care and I send it off to their physician to sign the orders. Once those are signed, they're good for 6 months. So throughout that 6 months, we work very closely with the specialist and the primary care physician. And then we reevaluate their case and resubmit it and determine if they have a continued need for medical care or if they're ready to go to a mainstream type of school.
Yeah, but our whole goal is to have the child reach their maximum potential. We have several children that are school age that come before and after school, so they are able to attend school, but they come before and after school and have their healthcare needs met at that time.
So how long have you both been associated with Banyan?
Well, for Banyan actually just formed by a group of investors in Sarasota in early 2019. It was a group of guys and a woman that got together and wanted to do something to give back to the community. So they saw this as an identified need. And then luckily, very happily, we acquired this center in St. Pete just on May 1st of this year. March 1st of this year, I came to the Banyan team, and Bree has been with the center previously to being the Banyan Center for several years.
Wow. Well, that's a testament. That obviously means you believe in what you're doing too, to be there that long. It's great.
Bree, don't sugarcoat it. How long have you been with the center for in total?
So it'll be 8 years in March.
8 years. Wow.
So I'm just a couple years older
Yeah.
than Bree, just a couple.
And
So
now-
Very
I have-
passionate about what you're
yeah,
doing, obviously.
Now, Bree,
So-
Kathy, I'm going to get to you in a second with your experience. Bree, so we spoke with you. You took a break out of it. I'm not going to share the story because I want you guys to talk. But you don't have to share where you went or what you did. But please, if you don't mind, share with us and the listeners what you said to us when you were there, of when you did leave, of what
Sure.
universe
you
said
back.
to you. Yeah.
Sure. So I went to nursing school to be a pediatric nurse. That was where my heart was, and that's what I wanted to do. I found myself working here, had never heard of a PPEC, and fell in love with it. But I had a dream job that I always wanted to work, and I was given the opportunity. So I left, but I would work here a day or two a month, and I went to my dream job for about 6 months, and the opportunity came up for me to come back here in a different position full time. And I was actually talking to my husband about it, and he said that my mind was already made up and that I just needed to look at myself because I didn't come home from work smiling as much as I came home from work smiling from here, and that I was like I was missing my family. So when I came back here, it really just felt like I was coming back home. Like
That's
I
sweet.
love coming to the center and working. So
You know what? I can resonate with that 100%. And I'll tell you exactly why. I started my new job, just this past Monday, and I had worked there for 4.5 years. I left there at the beginning of the year, took a 6-month out of it to try something in a different career path, working with this guy right here. And it wasn't for me. It just turned out to not be right. And I started back at the place I worked for 4.5 years. And I feel exactly like you did. It's like being back together with your family. And
great.
you think about it and think it's a no-brainer. It's like, where you are the happiest. And like you said, is both of you throughout that whole day were smiling the whole time. You can see the passion and excitement and energy you both have. And we haven't met anybody else that works there. We just assumed it's just the two of you that do everything there. I'm sure that's not the case. But everybody that we saw that walked past, that everyone was wearing masks, obviously, but you can feel
there's energy in the room.
Yeah, you can feel the energy as you're doing it. And when we left there, we were kind of like, I kind of said, can we go back and work there? It was that energy. We love kids, of course, and it was just amazing. Sorry, I'm keep going on. Kathy, coming to you now. You've had a couple years experience in this field, I believe you told us.
Just a couple.
So, yeah. So what's your background?
So initially, same thing, I'm a registered nurse and I always wanted to work in pediatrics. Same thing when I got to school, I worked in pediatrics in a 55-bed pediatric unit, then moved into neonatal intensive care.
Wow.
And then over the years, did a lot of critical care, pediatric intensive care, neonatal intensive care, and technology dependent ICU. And then in 1996, I was recruited by a pediatric healthcare company to develop this type of program for them. So I've been doing this type of care since 1996. And I think within the first year of, running a PPAC, I realized that it brought everything I ever did throughout my life brought me here, that I was able to use every single skill set. And it's a program that I had no intention of falling in love with. I'm like, check it out. I'll do it for a little while. And this is where I've been ever since. So 1996. So have done this program for a couple different companies and in 5 different states. And I think it's the most wonderful thing in the world for children and families.
Yeah. Again, it shows by just being there and again, feeling the room and seeing the children, how happy they are. You guys do a great job with what you're doing. It doesn't even seem like, I don't want to say you're doing a job. I know you have to do functions and things of that nature to keep it running, but it seemed more like, I know you blend the nursery side with the medical side, but it really to me felt more like a nursery in a sense for the children's sake. That's why they were running around, running from room to room, et cetera. It was just a great feeling in there.
I mean,
it's true. We always talk about, Bree and I were talking this morning about the wonderful things, and obviously for the children and the families, it's most important. But what we seldom really talk about is what they give back to us every single day, and that the joy that they bring into our lives and the joy that we find in seeing them grow and meet developmental milestones. And it's just, it's amazing. Like you said, it's love what you do what you love. That's exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
It really is. And, looking at the children as well is you can tell the children in any place, whether they're happy or unhappy. And, we were very lucky to do a photo with you guys and one of your superstars. Remind me of his name again. The one that's
the little boy in the wheelchair.
Amir.
Amir, yeah, who we've seen on all the photos. It was literally as soon as the camera came out, the big smile came out, and we both had masks and the face coverings on, but we were still smiling big underneath there. And what you do and what Banyan does for these parents as well. I mean, you don't see the parents every day. Probably a lot of the time you don't see the parents at all because they're being picked up, dropped off. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, if you have any testimonials of what parents say about what you guys do when they come in there. I mean, when they found out about it, do you have any kind of testimonials or stories from some of the parents?
Actually, very recently, we had a child who she was adopted, so there's not much known about her medical history and what was to come of her life. And so she's been here since she was a baby, and she recently was diagnosed with a seizure disorder.
Okay.
Mom was having a very, very hard time coping with it. And so she left the appointment and drove straight here. The child was not here. She was with the mother, drove here and wanted to talk to us because we made her feel comfortable. And we were able to explain things and kind of give her an idea on what the treatment plans could be and would look like with us helping manage the care. And that day, it really struck me and just opened my eyes to what we do, knowing that this parent who could have gone home to her family came immediately to us just to talk.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a testament.
So you're not only helping the child, but you're helping the parents understand what you do to almost, I guess, mirror what you do to make the child's, because I'm flip-flopping a little bit here, is, the child goes through what they go through on a day-to-day basis with you guys, when they're with you, when they're dropped off or they're picked up and taken to you guys, and you have a regime that you go through. And then Jay and I were talking in the car on the way back, and we were saying, okay, how does that work going back into the parents' house afterwards? Do you do anything with the parents to explain to them what you do with their children so that they can continue to, I guess, try and follow some sort of schedule like you do?
There's a lot of parent education that goes on when the child initially comes into the center and as the medical needs of the child change. So there's a lot of parent education. The nurses in the room and the charge nurses are always talking to the families. Remember, there's always a nurse on the bus, so that nurse can provide that daily education when they drop them off. And the administrative staff managers, I mean, they're in constant communication with the families. Families can also, well, pre-COVID, come into the center and, have an educational session, depending on the care of the child, if they need some additional instruction.
And we do have forms that we send home with the children so that the parents can see what schedule we've been following. But a lot of these kiddos, they come here and we handle all of the medical needs for the parents. So they get all their medications or their feeds or whatever they have ordered so that when they go home with their families, they can live a typical child's life. They can go home and not have to worry about that. The parents don't have to worry about it. They know that their medical needs have already been met and that they're stable, so they can do what a parent would do with education and school, and
they can be a mom.
That's great.
Yeah,
and not a nurse.
That's I can't even. Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional thinking of the fact that what you do, you're not just doing it for the child, you're doing it for the parent. And in the overall scheme of things, you're making that child who hasn't asked for anything or has just been dealt this card in life, you're making this child's life so much better. So both of you deserve the highest accolades there ever is anywhere. So I'm so proud to be associated with you, and I know Jay is as well. And before we kind of start to get towards the end of the interview, there's something that you both told us about when we were there, and we've seen the video and you would have seen it prior.
But the story.
Please tell us the story of our amazing graduate that we saw walking down that corridor. Because when you told us, we were just like, wow. So go ahead and share it with everyone if you may.
Sure. So we have a child who recently graduated high school. he had a goal. He is wheelchair bound. He had a goal of walking across the graduation stage. So COVID happened and his graduation was canceled. So we set up a graduation here, and for the first time he walked with a therapist on either side in his cap and gown down the hall. I'm gonna cry now talking about it. I still can't talk about it without crossing. But so we had every child in the center, every staff member, every therapist. He walked down the hall, the longest that any of us have ever seen him walk, and then met his chair at the end and did his tassel flip, and just it was huge. It really signified his, and then afterwards his parents put on a parade outside of their house, so we all went and drove by with our signs and everything. But just to see him growing up, because we've had him since he was a little boy, and to know that he's graduated high school and he's going to go on and continue his life, and it was just such a big milestone that we got to make happen with him and for him.
Well, it just goes to show you how Banyan separates itself from anybody else. I mean, you guys really put a lot of heart in this and a lot of emotion, and that story alone just goes to show you go the extra mile, but you do it because you care, because you do really care about these kids, and it's fantastic. It's great, like Rob said, to be a part of this and to know that in some way we can help by sharing your story with everyone. We're so happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that story, everything we've seen, and we're so happy we came to see you before we got to sit and chat with you guys. You know, I met a friend of mine. The story goes back to, I was playing golf with a friend of mine, talking about one of the fundraisers we had done, ended up meeting with Roger, one of the guys associated with Banyan. He told us about what you guys do, and I said we'd love to have him on the show. And then we got in contact with Jason, who I know is there with you, but he's not allowed to be on camera. But thank you, Jason, as well. And it's just everyone from start to finish has just been so amazing, and we are so excited to be associated with you guys and are so proud of what you're doing. And we're making it our mission to tell as many people and get this information out to everybody. So we cannot thank you enough for being on the show today and sharing what you guys do on a daily basis.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So ladies, before we tend to wrap up a guest interview, we always ask our guests, is there anyone they know or any charity or any company that's helping others that inspires them that they would want to have or see on our show as a guest as well? So hopefully you have somebody in mind, and if you don't, it's okay. But anyone come to mind for you?
Sure. So as a company too, we like to give it back to the community. And we recently, for this month, we're doing a t-shirt fundraiser to give back to metastatic breast cancer research. It's called Metaviver. We brought our t-shirt to show everybody.
Oh, cool.
So it's just kind of using their slogan for this year with our logo. In addition, so just because of the times and everything, we do know somebody who is very passionate about that company and that cause. So we would like to recommend her. Her name is Jennifer Pace.
Perfect. Okay. That's awesome. If you can get her in contact with us or introduce us, we'd be more than happy to. Anyone that's associated with you guys, and you know, from back in episode 2, Jay has got an association with cancer. His wife unfortunately had breast cancer, but is doing amazing now. So I know that's very near and dear to Jay's heart as well. And so we'd be delighted to have them on the show as well.
Supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, Briana, Kathy, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We look forward. Please make sure you stay in touch with us. Send us any videos or any new stories of things that are happening in the center. So just so you guys know out there, they have currently a facility in St. Pete, and you are opening Newport Richey and Sarasota very shortly, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to take us on a tour of the next 2 as well. So you're not getting rid of them. As long as you don't mind.
We can do grand openings with them every time. And
we'd love to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll be there at the grand opening. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Yes,
and
thank you.
we'll speak to you soon.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And Banyan, what a great business model. What a great program for so many kids. Like I was saying, the fact that they've melded the healthcare aspects for these children and the nursery side of it together, but it really felt more to me than anything like a nursery. All the kids were happy.
Yeah.
It's just, and I love the fact that they're growing and we get to be part of it with them. And hopefully we get to share that with all of our Fall Forward Fanatic friends.
Yep.
Get behind us, guys. If you don't have one in your community right now, please reach out to us or check with us somehow, because this is a great group of people and they're trying to help the children that need the help.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, those two ladies, as much as they were very, very humble and very proud, what they do on a daily basis for these kids, I mean, and not just them, it's everybody else in the Banyan organization, are just incredible people. That the investors that invested in, bravo, very amazing. You know, what you've done, incredible, because, you know, you saw me getting emotional there, the fact of when they
verklempt.
I got verklempt. You're right. My mom will be so proud of you for saying that. Is I got emotional because they do everything for that child. So when the child goes home, there's no worries for the parents. I mean, that is just incredible. And
they're alleviating stressors for the family, which it's already tough enough. Their children need additional care outside of the norm.
Yeah.
You know, it's just what they were doing there. Like we saw, you know, I think 2 children there that had some major challenges, but again, the 2 boys were just smiling and high-fiving each other in front of us.
Correct.
They had feeding tubes. You wouldn't have even known that.
Yeah,
if they didn't show it to us. It just blew my mind.
They were conjoined twins that were facing each other when they were born, and one of the nurses said, "Hey, you want to show us your tubie?" And he lifted up his shirt and he had his little feeding tube, and he was smiling and he was happy about it. And that's because these people that look after them, they don't make a big deal of it. You know, to them it's normal. You know, it goes back to our episode with Chase, who also had the feeding tube, where Robert stuck it on there. You know, it's very, very smart and excellent care by, you know, just amazing people. So thank you so much. Them. And thank you for letting us be.
Keep up the good work, everybody at Banyan.
Amazing. So Jay, we're about to go. We're about to go on this trip. I'm nervous.
Is it going here?
Get that music.
Yeah.
We might be wearing something extra when we go up there. What do you think?
A little extra FFR?
Yeah, FFR.
Yeah.
You're going to see it. You're going to see it next week. You're going to see us wearing, you know,
some new stuff, because the merch is coming, everybody.
The merch is coming this weekend. So it would have already been coming by the time this comes out. So we'll show you some more stuff about it. You'll see it over, where is it? This side. Go on, show them a little bit.
That way.
Show them a little bit. Go on.
Okay. Here you go. Here you go.
Goes.
Store's open, everybody. Come on.
Store is open. Let's go.
Right.
All right. With that being said, we will see you next week, and look out for us going live on the social media platforms, on Instagram, on TikTok. Yeah, we're going to be vlogging live up there in Maryland with Rob Shear. So stay tuned. This is Rob C in the place to be. Yeah, you know me. 1, 2, 3. See you next week.
And Jay Hawk. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Hey, Fall Forward fanatics. Jay Hawk here.
And Rob C. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell.
And also check out our website, fallforwardradio.com, and the Suggest a Guest section.
And always remember to keep inspiring
and keep falling forward. See you guys soon.